Hello and welcome to the IGN UK podcast, episode number 359. I'm Alysia Judge and joining me is Dale of the Coventry Drivers.
Hello, that's not my official name.
And Joe of the Canada Scrabbles.
Latvian.
Latvian. You're all over. It's really hard to find an origin.
I'm an empire of a man. I've got all sorts. Australian, Latvian, Canadian. I once got a xenophobic feedback in my first job because I used English words and phrases. He didn't. The man in question didn't like the fact that I used the phrase "harping on" because it was British and I'm not British.
What?
He said, "I've got Latvian friends and they would never use English phrases." It's like, firstly, bullshit. I've never met a Latvian.
Did you tell him that you grew up here, though?
I wasn't going to respond.
Was this a job in England?
Yeah, it was an official Nintendo magazine.
Official Nintendo magazine.
Guy did not like me on the podcasts.
That's awful. I can't even imagine.
Guys, it's pretty hard for me. I'm a very
okay.
put upon, non-privileged person, as you can tell by my skin colour and accent.
We are all here
Life's just
for
been a
you.
constant struggle in the life of Joe Scrabbles.
Yeah.
This week has been not a constant struggle, but it's been a pretty busy week because we've had an IGN premiere for Final Fantasy 15, which was insane. I feel like people basically became caffeine-based life forms. You'd walk into the office and someone would be twitching. We've had emergency drops of chocolate and
Emergency
sugar.
drops. From Skrillex. That's Skrillex, that. Sorry, I'm really tired. That's all I've got.
It sounded like a kookaburra.
Yeah, that's what all fucking what's it not called? I called it Dropbox. What's it called? Dubstep. Dubstep sounds like that.
This is definitely on course to be the second most hated podcast all the time.
Hey, yeah, we should talk about the fact that the last time we had this lineup and this host, we got more negative feedback.
It's the infamous Bake Off episode.
It's fine because
Look what I've got.
No, Joe's got food.
Food with popping candy in it, which is twice as noisy.
I just ate a whole load of those Terry Chocolate Orange popping candy. Wait, if we were very quiet, can you hear it?
No,
nothing. Which is good because that means people will be happy that there's no sound.
Before people
eating.
left listening at this point, yeah.
On the podcast.
No, I'm going to wash this down with some Coke as well. Fuck you.
You monster. But you were doing a lot of talking this week, Joe, because you were basically partly hosting the IGN premiere.
Some people call me the star.
Your face was on cinema screens.
How was your mum?
All
Going to
around
be in
Europe.
going to be in the game now. You're going to put me in as DLC. Going to be great.
As a presenter. How did you find it?
It was really good. It was such an interesting event because I had helped plan a lot of it, written a lot of stuff beforehand for our amazing host Pete Donaldson. Not that he did loads of it as well. It's not like I just gave him his lines. I'd been involved the whole time, but I'd never seen the plan for the place.
Yeah.
And I turned up at 11 on the day. To explain, this is like a big party we held for Final Fantasy 15.
It was like a secret cinema sort of setup, wasn't it? It's like
Immersive cinema.
Yeah.
Building the world of Essos, is it?
Eos.
Eos. One of them. Building that world with just, all different rooms themed around different parts of the game and stuff. And it's just a really cool experience.
That was really cool. The thing that I loved most about it was when they just opened up the gates and let everyone in. And one of the first rooms you walk into, they had four massive life-sized chocobos, which you were terrified of because you don't like ostriches.
I just don't like big, large birds of any kind, and I could feel their beady eyes just staring through my soul.
All had
What's the smallest large bird?
Ooh, a swan, maybe?
Swans are horrible.
Yeah. I think a chicken I'm fine with. Anything swan and above, no.
Swan and above.
Canadian geese, you with your Canadianness, are awful. They're vicious.
I don't doubt that for a second.
They hiss like snakes.
It's their eyes, and they have no fear. They don't show fear either.
I had
They
a
sense
prominent
yours.
nightmare about geese as a kid, that I was on a farm with my family and geese with teeth chased us and all my family got on a tractor.
Geese with teeth?
Geese with teeth.
Wait, I can't wait.
Geese with teeth.
Geese with teeth.
Geese with teeth chased us and my family all got on a tractor and left me behind to be eaten by the geese with teeth.
That's awful.
And apparently geese do have some kind of weird tooth protrusions inside their mouths.
That's when they hiss, you can see them lit up. It's like, that duck in Five Nights at Freddy's that has the razor sharp. It's exactly
What's the ones that
like
break your arm?
Swans.
Yeah.
Swans. But we didn't have
Because they do karate.
Thankfully, there were no
Well, they should do
Canadian
jiu-jitsu,
geese
so.
at the premiere, but we did have these chocobos that were absolutely
incredible.
And then we had other rooms. We had another that was like a campsite, and that was where you could actually play the game. And there was another.
They built like the game into some rocks.
Yeah.
I was like, is that the game? I know in the game you could like draw magic out of some special types of rocks.
Yeah.
So maybe that was the idea. It's like you're drawing the magic of Final Fantasy 15 out of this weird outcrop.
If it wasn't for those rocks, though, it would literally just been a tent and some chairs and a little campfire.
That would have been enough for me.
I was
didn't need.
eyeing up that tent for later in the night when we had a few beers. I was like, if we could find some cushions, maybe.
That was a prize. It was signed by Hajime Tabata himself.
Was it?
I wondered
Given
why
away.
a woman was
See
walking
that?
around with a $10 at
Yeah.
one point during the night.
Oh, so
We
she
gave away
won
that
it.
tent. She got special. I
Did
don't
she
know.
have to pack it
She's going to
down?
go to Glastonbury. Yeah, absolutely. If you can pack it, and if you can get it in one of those tiny bags, they're
win.
impossible
She's
to get
there with her
into.
thighs clamped around it, trying to squeeze it in this little bag.
That's it. By the end of that night, it was a huge warehouse. So when there weren't many people, it was very cold.
Yeah.
Everyone was drunk, and you were having to pack a tent away. It is just the end of Glastonbury. Like that was
basically,
what she
yeah.
experienced.
It was very cold.
Yeah. But then, basically, this live stream we did was held around all of these areas. So we had kind of the Crow's Nest Diner from the game. We had Listella Market.
Where you could get a heel cast or tri-cast.
Yeah,
potion.
that was the take. There
I'm
was a
wearing
little
mine.
potion. Is
Oh
that
my
your
God.
potion?
Yeah,
Which
that's
one
my
was it?
potion. I got a lightning heel cast,
Very
meaning
good.
I can deal lightning damage but heal myself simultaneously.
I mean, feel free to
Absolutely.
cast it at any point.
It's a very small vial. I don't know whether you've noticed. It's limited. I'm saving it for an emergency.
You save that for the quiz later on.
Yes, when I'm losing in the quiz.
Question. Minor nitpick. Do you think it was weird that the diner wasn't serving food?
That was a
Yes.
bit odd.
Yeah.
There was
They were
food
serving
outside.
beer, by the way, drinks. They were
Yeah.
serving drinks, but not food.
Probably just a fire hazard.
And
Isn't it?
there were pictures of food on the diner, so I thought it would look like cheese toasties. So I was like, oh, cool, we can get it. But apparently that was just pictures of the food from the game.
Pull your finger out, IGN.
That was one of the prime locations as well for most of the shooting. So
Yeah.
it'd a bit weird if people were there, trying to get their chili con carne or something, and you've got whole camera crews barging through. So.
just like loads of people in the background just eating like lasagna. So, like, what?
Tomato ketchup all around their
I don't
face.
care about Leviathan.
But that was something really cool that we saw from our stream. We had some brand new gameplay that hadn't been seen before. Exclusive.
It's exclusive.
Which was really, really cool. It was we had a vote on what...
That wasn't exclusive, the voted footage. People had seen that before.
Yeah. No. So the two bosses, we had a vote on
Don't tell her
those.
what they're called. Let's see if she can remember.
A Bandersnatch.
Yes,
Snatch.
that's one of them.
And Big Snaky Ooglewatsits.
Midgardsummer,
Midgard.
which I mispronounced 3 times during the live stream, which was great.
Until this moment, I thought it was Midgar Sorma.
Oh, maybe it is actually. Now that maybe I said it wrong.
I don't know.
I think
I'm
I
just
learned
going
it
off
from
the
Pete.
spelling.
But yeah, we
But
showed
all the
that off.
gameplay that I was super impressed by.
Yeah.
I thought it looked awesome.
That game's astonishing, and that was the thing. It was being surrounded by people who I really like Final Fantasy, and I'm super
passionate.
excited. But
Yeah.
these are like genius level Final Fantasy nerds. Like when we were showing it off, the final part where we showed off an exclusive bit of footage of the Leviathan, which is a summon. It's been all the way through the Final Fantasy series. If you've played a game, you've probably used Leviathan.
Yeah.
And in this game, you have to beat them like as a boss
win
to
them.
earn them.
Yeah.
Like impress them enough. Just like
I am your slave.
It's like punching Simon Cowell in the face until he gives you to a record contract. So we showed this off, and whilst it was being shown off, I was interviewing a couple of the developers and the amazing translator that Square Enix has.
It was incredible.
Gavin, he's called.
Trousers were fabulous.
He's known. He has a small cult following. He's known as the Pants Man
Is he?
because he wears leather pants all the time.
I'm wearing leather trousers right now.
Well,
we're totes buddies.
You and Gavin should have a chat about your leather wear. So we were doing this sort of discussion. We'd done a few rehearsals during the day, and what you're not prepared for when you're just going question and answer stuff and you're desperately nervous about it all because it's the first time you've ever done anything live and you're terrified you're going to vomit on a prominent member of the Japanese development community, is you're surrounded by people in cosplay who are like whispering about what the thing is, and then like when it's doing stuff, in a mic shot, just be like, "Fuck me!"
I did love that. I love there was a guy. It was a guy dressed as Cloud.
There's one as Cloud and one as
who was just like
Noctis, I think.
Yeah,
just behind.
and they were just like responding to
The
everything.
Cloud guy is brilliant because his costume was amazing.
Yeah.
All you could see on the stream was his quite cheap blonde Cloud wig, and he immediately NeoGaf immediately had a picture of him up on the thread, so he's now like a mini meme from that night because all the cosplayers were sort of moved into the back, prominently into the background of a lot of the shots. So there's just this one dude's head in all these shots, just being like, "Hey," with crazy spiky hair. It's brilliant.
There's one video that we shown on the event where it shows the scale of all the monsters.
I was going to mention that. Yeah.
And I was standing next to Gav and Roy, and we were watching that, and obviously I made that video, so I've seen it tons of times, so it was washing over me.
Yeah.
But it was, like you said, it was amazing to hear all these people next to me like going, "Oh my God, look at that." Oh my God. And then when they showed the biggest one, what's it called? The Adamantoise. They audibly went, "Oh!"
Yeah. So cool.
And it genuinely inside of me, I was like, I did not expect that at all.
That was awesome.
But then it just shows you how passionate they are about the game.
Yeah, you can watch most of the videos we showed on the night on the site at the moment. Dale put heart and soul into those things, and not
sweat.
Yeah.
Blood.
I was going to be modest, but no, fuck it. Yes,
no,
it was hard work.
They were incredible. It
You
really
were like
came
a
off.
champ.
You tied the whole thing together like a Big Lebowski rug.
Like a rug, yeah.
And
It was beautiful.
so, but the funniest thing is that fandom extended. I found out behind the scenes that extended to the man who made the game.
Yeah.
So earlier on, when we also had another guest we had on the stream was John Campling, who is the voice and motion capture of King Regis, who's a fairly major character in the early stage of the game, and in the Kingsglaive prequel sort of simul film. I don't know what do you even call that thing?
Oh, it runs parallel to the
chapter 1 of the game takes place at the same time as much of Kingsglaive. And King Regis is this very stately looking, cool bearded man. Turns out John Campling looks exactly the same.
It's basically him.
Yeah, he's a sort of like Lord of the Rings version of King Regis with his insane hair. He's brilliant. He's a lovely man.
They're like when we were in the green room backstage, he had it all tied up, but as soon as he was on camera, it was all flowing.
Down, all the way down to his nips. Not that he had his nips out. Yeah. He just had little coals cut in his nice shirt. I don't know.
That took a strange
I'm really tired. But so he was sitting in the green room. We were all sort of chatting away, and then Tabata-san, who's the director of the game, comes in, shakes everyone's hand, and he looks over and he's like, "King Regis!" Because all the motion capture was done in the UK.
Yeah.
So
they had never met each other before. And this is the thing.
Oh, that's crazy.
Imagine being a man who created a character and then he's just appeared in front of you in real life. Like, how bewildering must that be?
He obviously must forget that he based that character off a real face. Well, he's just like,
presumably he knew, but it must be such a strange thing to be like, I've worked with your face for 4 to 5 years at least.
I
never met you and then met that person.
What was that like? How did he?
He just sort of ran over and hugged him. It was really cool. Imagine
who is this Japanese dude?
It's essentially like the greatest cosplay he'll ever see. He wasn't wearing his costume; he was wearing his skin and face.
It's for a character like you said he made as well.
It's so strange. He's written that man.
Yeah.
And then he's just there.
That's really cool. But then the voice of Sean Bean is doing King Regis, which is a really interesting. Like the guy who played him was saying, it's so strange that I've said all these lines, but then when you actually see it, it's me, but with Sean Bean's voice.
One of the best things that happened earlier in the day, because the first rehearsal we did was before any of the Square Enix side of people were there. We were just getting it all blocked out and understanding where we needed to stand and things, which meant that Dan Kilby, ex of this, well, not ex, who has been on this podcast several million times, as far as I can tell.
Sad Dan.
He had to stand in for almost everyone.
Right.
So he was my Q&A audience. So he was Hassan, Chloe, and Connor.
Oh, my God.
Oh, sorry, Hassan, Holly, and Connor, who were also excellent. I don't know if they listen to the podcast, but if they do, you were great. And he was also Tabata, and he was John Campling.
Wow.
The John Campling bit.
Many talents.
The thing is, Kilby took it upon himself to improvise answers to all the questions he was asked.
This is going to go terribly.
The greatest answer he gave, I lost my shit, I was just watching on a monitor and Pete's like, so it must be weird because it's your face, but you're hearing Sean Bean's a voice come out of your mouth. Is it, and how does it feel? Like, is it an honor to be a Sean Bean character? And Kilby's immediate response doesn't miss a beat. He was like, it was an honor for Sean, to come out of my and I was like, oh God, I really hope John Campling says that later on. That's such a good answer.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it was brilliant.
No, it's honestly, it's been a really amazing week. I really, really enjoyed that night. It was awesome to see people who are so passionate about Final
Never done
Fantasy
anything like that
Never done
before.
anything like that.
Well, a lot of our work is, I feel like it's kind of in a bubble. You know, we do things, we just send them out to the internet, and then whatever happens, you're not seeing real people. But this was seeing real people responding to things that we're doing live.
Yeah.
It's just a crazy feeling.
And it's also that affirmation of like, both of us have played. Well, I've played, I think, close to 8 or 10 hours of.
I'm about 4 or 5
15
hours,
by this point. Like, and I feel really good about it. I've played the same bit a lot and still really enjoy it. And when you get actual fans coming in, the people who really care about the things that aren't like this game by necessity, and they're coming in and being like, Jesus, this is good. You're like, oh, cool. We all feel the same. Like, this is actually going to be. I really feel like it's going to be a special game. Like, I'm so excited.
So excited for this game. And beforehand, I'd openly admit, like the last Final Fantasy game I played was 13, and that burned me hard. I have no interest in the franchise anymore. And I played 15 for work, but now I'm so glad I did because I'm on board.
Yeah.
As soon as this game comes out, I can't wait to jump back into it.
Such a strange thing. Like, it's this weird open world action game with like photos and cooking and
Americana,
like Americana and like bro humor. Like, I just like this. I think we've talked about it before, but just constantly referring to the character Ignis as Specs or Four Eyes. Like, it's such a believably.
It just turns out it is on Virgin on bullying.
Yeah, but it's such a believably hilarious bit of in your friend group bullying. I'm like, that's great.
I think people are really going to dig this.
It's like the Final Fantasy that you know, but also that you completely don't. And
absolutely.
Yeah,
totally reintroduce you, which is exactly what the series needs. Speaking of series having new life breathed into them, you've been playing the brand new Skyrim remaster.
I have.
This week,
I'm only about 2 hours in, but I did sink about 100 hours into it originally, so I know Skyrim.
That's a lot of
Still
hours.
rushing back.
Yeah.
Is it the remaster thing where it feels like playing the original, like through rose-tinted specs, or can you tell that it feels old?
There's one thing, really. The rest of it, I can see some elements of it, they feel a little bit more dated, like the opening scene where you're a prisoner and you're coming down. Now the character models look... Then, it looks 5 years old, basically, what it is. Something I noticed last night, I was speaking to Alysia about earlier, is the load times are just incredible compared to what the original was.
Oh, God, yeah.
Because I used to, sometimes I would even not go in buildings because I couldn't be bothered to sit through that load. And I was like, forget it, don't care what's in there, I'm not going for that building. But this one now, you're in and out in 5 seconds. It's so fast compared. That's a big deal.
That's one of those things from, that, I think someone pointed out to me about The Witcher 3 quite early on, was like, there's no... just opening a door into a building, it's just all there. It doesn't load it. You're like, wow, how have they done this?
That's incredible.
Which makes a massive difference to an open world game.
It takes me longer to get in a real life door than it does for them to get in these.
But so far, I'm only a couple of hours in, so it's largely, like you said, rose tinted glasses. I'm sure if I actually went and paid the PS3 version, then I would see the improvements made. But as it stands right now, it just feels like a familiar friend.
I was going to say,
what you want.
Like when you look at it side by side, because the original Skyrim came out in 2011, so it's been a fair while. And when it first came out, I think people really liked the graphics, thought that they were
that's an understatement. Yeah, people,
it was astonishing.
It was amazing stuff. Now when you look at it, does it have the same wow factor on current gen, or does it still feel...
landscape wise, maybe it still looks incredible, some of the landscapes and the vistas. It's the character models, and I mean, like Bethesda games like the Fallout and Skyrim, they kind of look the way they look, they have their own sort of style, and I don't think necessarily it's the greatest looking style, but it's a different kind of game, It's built for the open world, so some things have to be sacrificed, some elements, I suppose. And you can see that element of it. But like I said, the world still looks incredible. When you stand on top of a hill and you can just see this huge landscape and vistas.
I haven't played it since 2011, but the thing that really sticks with me is how good being on top of a mountain felt. Like, it felt like climbing that mountain took long enough that being on top of it was... genuinely a reward.
So that's
king of the world.
Exactly.
That's the bit I'm just about to get to, when you climb up the mountain for the first time.
Massive mountain with the dragon.
So I'm hopefully tonight going to find out what that looks like.
Excellent.
It looks beautiful so far.
And you've already fought your first dragon.
Kill the first dragon, yeah, but that's the story mission, isn't it? You've got a team helping you take it down, so it's relatively easy to take that first dragon down.
The real question is, if it comes out on Switch, you're going to play it for a third time?
Yeah.
On commutes.
I actually might.
Yeah, I think that's what tipped me in. Might tip me into it, because I have no real, like, remasters don't generally do it for me very much. Like, there are very few things that I'm like, I've got to play that whole thing again.
Right.
When I have good memories of it anyway. So, but like, having that opportunity to be like, just sort of blast through little bits on the tube or something, that really
all the side
appeals to
quests
me.
that you could do.
Exactly, that's it. Yeah, just going into
it's the portability of it.
Yeah, that's what I've talked about this before, but that's why. Firstly, I think Monster Hunter, if it comes out on Switch, is going to be the best thing that's ever happened to me, because that is the best game series.
You are
I've ever
literally
had.
wearing a Monster Hunter jumper right now.
But Monster Hunter 3, which is something they haven't done in the last two games, was through an incredibly fiddly and quite shitty system, cross-play between 3DS and Wii U. And so I would do all my like hunter gathering. Like, so when we did our series, you remember how long we had to spend just collecting herbs and like killing specific monsters to get specific items. And
give me your fangs!
Exactly. I really like that stuff.
It was good fun.
But that was my 3DS time. That was on the tube, just grinding. Sort of not having to think much and just grinding away and like doing the base level stuff. And then I'd go home, build my armor, go online on my Wii U, play a better looking version of that game with my friends online, and go and take down a giant monster that we'd been hoping to kill for days. And that, like, that's the Nintendo Switch is essentially has sold itself to me by going, that feeling, but with every single game on the system. Like, that's insane. That's
cool. But it's interesting what you're saying about not playing that many remasters, because I really love remasters, and there are tons that have come out this year already.
Yeah.
We've had Call of Duty Modern Warfare remastered, the Bioshock collection, the Assassin's Creed Ezio collection has just come out.
Skyrim.
Skyrim.
It's almost
Batman.
It's almost as if all the developers and publishers knew that PS4 Pro and Xbox Scorpio were coming out, and they didn't want to make new games until they knew what they were going to be on.
Extra polish. We're on to you, publishers. We see your game.
Weird.
But like, I'm someone who's a massive. I loved it when they remastered the first PlayStation for Tomb Raider Anniversary. The first PlayStation when they remastered that. When they remastered on PlayStation.
That wasn't a remaster,
Tomb Raider.
was it?
Yeah, Tomb Raider.
The anniversary one.
Tomb Raider.
Wasn't that a remake? I never played it.
I guess it counts as a remake, doesn't it? Because you can't take. But that's what was really cool about it, that you took like the polygons and the low res of a game that had come out like 10 years previously, and then put it onto PlayStation 3. That was really cool.
Because most remasters now, they usually just upscale the visuals a little bit. They're not really adding a massive amount.
Exactly, that's the thing. That's why some of these games, like that's why I was kind of curious to see whether Skyrim was a massive leap or whether it was just kind of the same game.
Absolutely, like visual fidelity and just, technical things, really. As far as I know, and it's got all the DLC included and stuff, but as far as I know, it's the same game.
Because one of the big advantages of remasters, I think, is for people who didn't play a really iconic original game. So I hadn't played Bioshock, and then when Bioshock, I know,
that is crazy,
absolutely terrible. But when the Bioshock collection came out, it was fantastic, because it was a way for me to jump into the game, see it without. Because the trouble is, when there's a really iconic game that people go, "This is amazing," and then you go back and you play it years after it came out, you can be a little bit kind of put off or distracted by the fact that it doesn't look as good, or it's more clunky, or the motion controls.
Well, I played Bioshock like 2 years late, and I remember feeling like, oh, this feels old.
First Bioshock feels really dated, but I'm so glad I went back and played it.
Yeah.
Because it's one of my favourite games of all time, and now I think it actually might even be my favourite game of all time after playing the remaster, because it just brought it all back, and I just remembered how much I love this world, how much I love the story, and just the whole premise of the game I just love. Yeah, some of the mechanics are a little bit ropey, but at the end of the day, some of my favourite films, there's going to be technical things that are a little ropey on them. It's the heart of it.
Well, there's a reason
really
the original Star Wars films look better without the CG stuff that they added.
Yeah, that's so true. Some of the weird stuff they added was...
The bit with... Oh my God. Have you ever seen the version where, because they never accounted for the fact that Jabba the Hutt had a tail?
Yeah.
And then when they...
Scene,
but then they added the one where
he steps on his tail.
Where he steps on his tail, but it's just... It's like they've cut him out in Photoshop and just made him go...
They've literally took the plate of Han Solo and just moved him up and moved him.
So weird. It's the strangest bit.
I don't know what they were thinking.
No.
But then that whole original special edition, that first one, there's a lot of strange decisions. They even did it on like the Blu-ray versions, when they put like Ewoks making them blink.
Oh, I don't remember that.
Yeah, and they put Darth Vader, they put him at the end of Return of the Jedi.
Darth Vader blinks. Just big fleshy eyelids on his mask.
At the end of Return,
like really wet sounding.
gross. At the end of Return of the Jedi, now when he picks up spoilers, when he picks up the Emperor and throws him, he screams the Darth Vader no now as well, which is awful. So they were even making changes up to that point. But fortunately enough, now the person who wants to make all the changes is not involved anymore. So.
Back off, George.
No more changes from George.
Should be left.
So much good came of him leaving because he gave all the money to charity, didn't he? Like $1 billion or something. And he's not involved anymore. Yeah. It's like win-win.
And now they're making good films.
Well done, mate.
We're seeing Rogue One in a couple of weeks.
Oh,
we'll find out
if
it is good.
I'm ready for that.
Excited for that brand new thing.
Well, I feel like we've massively gone off track here.
With remasters,
that's it.
Are you pro or not?
I'm pro because at the end of the day, they're providing the option for you. If you want to play this game, play it. You don't have to buy it.
No, like
no one's forcing anybody to play these games.
Well, there's I guess the only argument to be leveled is like what the bandwidth of people having to do that. What are we losing out on as a result? Like what games aren't being made? And the answer is, who the fuck knows? Because game publishers, especially the kind of people who are making remasters, these are the monoliths. You know, these are the also, really big people.
Some of them will sub it out to other companies, I'd imagine. And then there's also, we can't realistically imagine that the bandwidth that it takes to do a remaster isn't the same as making a brand new game, because they're obviously completely different.
Yeah.
Like the process of making those games to begin with. So I mean, I don't know. I can't see the problem, to be honest.
What about the remasters versus remakes thing? Because like Resident Evil, I think people have widely enjoyed the remake. Certainly the one on the GameCube.
Yeah, I was going to say that remake was 10 years ago, though, wasn't it? Really,
of course.
They've just
upscaled
it.
Yeah,
but then they've got Resident Evil 2 remake coming soon, and I am so excited for that.
That's the thing. I prefer remakes to remastered, just from a nostalgia setting of saying, oh, if that game that I loved was made today, this is what it would look like, and there's something really nice.
What kind of nostalgia is that?
No, I really like that because it means that it's the same game, but you're seeing it through different eyes. So you kind of go, that looks amazing again, rather than seeing the same thing, but that's slightly shinier.
That's open to problems, though. Like at least with the remaster, you know, like it's the Blu-ray release of that DVD that you liked, isn't it? It's just like everything technically about it's the same thing that you know and love. Whereas with a remake, like with the Resident Evil one, I mean, they are good changes, but they make a lot of changes to that game.
Yeah, it depends on how far they go off. I'm thinking, taking that Tomb Raider one as an example, the scene where Lara climbs onto Midas's hand and turns to gold. In the original, I always remembered that as like, that was such like a scary, weird thing to happen. And then when it happened in the newer one on PlayStation 3, I think it was, they had this whole animation where she kind of like pauses and the gold slowly creeps up. And just seeing the switch was really awesome. And it relived that moment all over again. And I found it awesome all over again.
There's an interesting thing with the remake thing as well, in as much as it can make games that deserve to be played but just cannot be palatable to a modern audience anymore. It can make them worthwhile. So there's a game coming out by this, I think they're Russian developer called Pathologic, which is sort of famous for being this insanely hard but like genuinely fascinating game that got made and sort of thrown out to die, and a few people found it and it became this like strange talking point. There's some of the best video game writing I've ever read. It's this 3-part series by a guy called Quentin Smith on Rock Paper Shotgun. And he's a genius anyway, but he did this 3-part series about Pathologic and all the intricacies of its storylines and how like just fucked up it is. And they did a remaster, I think last year or maybe early this year. And I was kind of thinking of going to it, but I'd heard so much about how horrible it is to actually play. So like the storyline and all the kind of permutations of it are incredible, but trying to play this like ancient Russian survival game is not that fun.
Right.
At the same time, they're remaking it as well. So there's going to be like a beautiful version of that game, but remade with the ideas.
Original release?
I think it was like 2007.
Not
I'd say ancient. It's ancient in game terms.
Right.
Though. Like think about those games then and trying to play them now.
Is it on on Steam?
It was PC, I think. Yeah. But they're doing a remake of that, and I cannot wait for that because if it's the same people, it's the same writers and everything. It's just going to be made with a modern audience in mind.
Right, okay.
Can't wait for that. Like, that just sounds fascinating.
It's interesting. I think with anything to do with this, if we just had constant remakes, if every good game that came out a few years down the line was remastered or remade, then you can have very much too much of a good thing. Like, it's about being selective, cherry picking.
Once again, I think as long as they're still making new games and they're still doing all that, then I don't think if they're providing you the option to pick these up, it's up to you. If you don't want them, don't buy them. It's simple as that. As long as like it doesn't affect like the influx. If we're only getting remakes and remasters in 5 years' time, there's obviously a major problem there.
Yeah,
but I can't
absolutely.
imagine that is ever going to be.
Well, this is an interesting thing. I saw someone making this point actually on Twitter today. I can't remember who it was, someone intelligent. But this kind of games as service trend now, where it's like, we were talking about this last week. There's never going to be an Overwatch 2. There's going to be Overwatch that evolves for 10 years.
Yeah.
Not going to mention Overwatch again. The amount of games now that are built never to be stopped being played is kind of mad. And at some point, is that going to have a knock-on effect where people just stop buying new stuff because they've got a game they want? Like, I have plenty of friends who play one game. Like, I've got a friend who just plays League of Legends.
Just plays
Counter-Strike.
Destiny.
Just plays Destiny, just plays
World of
Magic the
Warcraft.
Gathering online.
Division.
Like, these games that are designed to just consume you forever. Which are brilliant, obviously. It's happened to us. Thanks, Reaper. And oh god, no, Overwatch.
Klaxon.
Yeah, but these games are designed to make you not want to play other games. Like, at some point, is there going to be a knock-on effect where we start getting more and more remasters just because that's the stuff people will buy because they remember it from the first time? Like, psychologically, what are we doing?
I don't know.
These are
No
the
one's buying
existential
Titanfall
questions
2.
we look at on the IGN UK podcast.
I know.
Yeah.
But the Take-Two CEO turned around and he said that they're looking into doing a Red Dead Redemption remaster.
Did they?
Or they'd like to.
I missed that.
3 weeks ago on the earnings call.
Oh, yes.
He was like, in passing, said that he'd love to do it. Is there a game that you would love to see remastered or
Binary Domain. The best ever third-person cover shooter
like
that
a
no one
vague
ever played.
applause.
I have a vague memory of this coming out.
Oh god, Binary! Everyone played Binary Domain. It's also because it's not backwards compatible on Xbox One yet, which is making me furious. Because that game, it is the best Gears of War game ever made, and it's not Gears of War.
Right.
It's made by the guy. I think he's the guy that made Yakuza for Sega.
Okay.
It's the strangest Japanese take on action games ever. It's fantastic. You've got to play it. It's got a French robot called Kane in it who wears a neckerchief. It's
I'm
brilliant.
in.
That's awesome.
I've got 2, and they're both being done.
Oh, amazing!
Hey, which ones?
One just for pure nostalgia, and when I was 14 years old, I spent about 200 hours playing this game. That's Final Fantasy VII, which they're obviously remaking.
Yeah, of course.
What the final product ends up being, who knows?
Well,
but
it's an episodic action game. So.
but the idea of it right now is really exciting to me, and I would love to jump back into it. I've always dreamed, ever since they showed that PS3 tech demo where they showed the opening of Final Fantasy VII, I wanted that remade. And the other one is Bulletstorm.
Oh yes,
Because that's right. That's confirmed, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the something edition, like I don't know, guns and balls.
That game was like a sleeper, man. Like, not a sleeper hit, but people just slept on it completely. Like I felt like it came out, people weren't really that into it. In the games industry, I guess they were.
It got good reviews,
Yeah.
but no one bought it because no one knew what it was. Also,
love that
the
game.
thing that people forget about Bulletstorm is when it first got revealed, that was like one of the most astonishing looking games I'd ever
was
seen.
so
Like
good,
some of the levels in that, like the sheer scale of them was just unbelievable. I'd never seen anything.
I have such a hazy memory of it now, but I know I loved it so much that I'm just so excited to I know I'll jump in that game and I won't remember anything about it, and then I'm going straight back in. Did you ever play it?
No, never did.
It's
crazy.
Stupid, sweary. Like on face level, you're just like, this is just
It's a bro
idiots
shooter,
making an idiot's game. It's at its heart. It's like Devil May Cry, but from a first-person shooter. Like, it's all about style combos and like making getting one guy up in the air,
you've got,
throwing another guy at him.
The whip thing that you call it. It's like an electric whip thing that you pull people in, and then it's about doing tricks with guns. So you're pulling them in, shooting them in certain areas, and then firing them into different,
kicking their legs off.
There's a big kicking mechanic in that game.
There's also an amazing scene where you just go into like a nightclub and have like a really violent fight to I think it's like the Bee Gees or something. Like, it's absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, I remember my neighbour played it all the time, and you'd go in and he was just always on it, and his mum would just be in the background going, "It's fine, it's fine."
That game was insane, but I am
everyone.
excited to play that again.
Yeah.
My one is Super Metroid. I would love to see a remaster. You know the bit with the jellyfish boss? I would love to see that in real. It's
By
not
jellyfish
an actual
boss,
jellyfish,
do you mean
but it's
the Metroid?
Yeah, exactly. The actual
No, jellyfish boss. Get with it, Joe. Jesus.
It's the official terminology. Jellyfish boss. That would be awesome to see in real life. What would you guys like to see remade? Write in to IGN_UK feedback at ziffdavis.com. I got the email right.
.ign.com.
Yeah.
This one says ziffdavis.com.
It can be
It can be either, but IGN.com is probably an easier.
Okay.
It's like what? That's
You have
6
options.
characters shorter.
Whichever one feels comfiest for you.
Comfiest.
Comfiest.
It is quite satisfying typing Ziff. I like that.
And saying it, ziff. But you have a quiz.
Yeah, so to start off, this is based on the fact that Alien Covenant, which is a film that will probably be shit, but I'm willing to believe it's going to be
Let's give it a
brilliant.
chance.
Remember Prometheus?
I do. Let's give it a chance.
Actually, I like Prometheus more than most people, I think, but it was...
It wasn't great. I don't know. As a big Alien fan.
Makes no sense at all. But it got a poster today, and the poster is brilliant.
Cool poster.
It's a brilliant poster. It's just like the front of a xenomorph's face, and it just says "run." And you're like, great tagline work. Right. So, with that in mind, I've got a quiz where I'm going to read out 14 of the worst taglines I could find.
And before you do that, I have a suggestion.
Yes.
I have brought in a Nerf gun.
Oh, damn!
And I think we need to spice up the quizzes a little bit. So
Yeah.
I'm opening myself to murder with this weapon.
Murder.
Point it.
I'm about to point it at you.
Do you know how to fire that one?
Yes, I do. I need to cock it and stuff. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to get my quiz.
What?
I love how you've suggested this, Dare, when you're giving it
You're
to
gonna
Joe,
get-
when
Because
you're
just
the one who's going to be fine.
Before we came in, it was sitting on my desk, and then I saw on the running order there was a quiz, and I thought, let's spice
and
this
you
thing
thought,
up.
you know, let's just...
And the thing about this
Peanut
quiz
butter and jelly.
is I haven't done multiple choice this time, so you're probably going to get shot 14 times each.
We're at point
There's
blank
only about
range.
6 bullets.
Okay.
Why?
I'll just choose you. I'm going to move off camera.
Yeah, that sounds great.
But
You'll be
everyone will
alright.
get the
We've
delightful sound of my
gotten rid of
colleagues
our
being
HR
shot by
department,
me for
and I'm
failing.
furious.
Right, let's.
This doesn't sound a video podcast. I don't know what.
There's gonna be some mic noise now. We go. Oh,
This ramps
that come out?
up
Oh, there we go.
the
You got
tension
it,
so
you got
much.
okay.
Now you look like you're just
I'm like a game show host.
absolutely...
Hi everyone. I'm going to shoot my friends. I'm going to stand over here.
You have to
Oh,
watch the
no.
video. Joe's just gone off camera.
Also,
So we
I've
can
got
shoot
like
from a distance.
3 things that I need to hold, so this is actually really awkward. I'm going to have to do it under my arm, like this, on the video. Right.
That was an awful image.
Right.
Okay.
Oh, God.
Let's start sort of slightly easy.
Oh, this is, if
okay,
we start
okay.
doing keyword countdown with this, I don't think the synapses in my brain will be able to cope.
Which keyword count is when you get one, the other person should be shot. It's a good idea.
Actually, that's a good one. If one of you gets it
The other
right,
person gets shot.
I'll shoot someone.
Yeah.
And if you don't get any right all the way through, I'll just shoot you both at the end. All right?
Okay, wait. So the loser of each round gets shot. That's,
Yes.
Yeah.
But it might be that you're both losers. Well, you are. But.
Well, that
Right.
was uncalled for.
Okay, I'm going to start with an easy one.
Okay, go for it.
These are 14 real taglines from posters for films. Sometimes they've had multiple taglines, so they got better ones later.
Okay.
These are real things. I've
Really
checked them all.
genuinely quite tense.
Oh, God.
The man with the hat is back, and this time he's bringing
Cat in
his.
the Hat.
And this time he's bringing his dad.
Austin Powers?
Incorrect.
He doesn't even wear a hat.
No,
what man?
is cat in a hat not a thing?
Man
The
with a
Grinch.
hat,
Man
and
with a
this
hat.
time he's bringing his dad.
Oh, Indiana Jones.
Well, you've already guessed.
Oh, bollocks. But it is Indiana
Indiana
Jones, isn't
Jones.
it?
And
Which one?
And which one has Sean Connery in it? And the Temple of Doom.
Last
Incorrect.
Crusade, baby.
I'm not shooting you, either of you. You didn't get it right. It is The Last Crusade.
Okay. Oh,
But
I think-
The
technically-
man with the hat.
Technically, I
What
did
is
get it
that?
right.
No one recognises Indiana Jones for having a hat.
I was going to say.
Well, I
that's
did.
a
I will
Well,
do
you
that.
did,
terrible
Evan.
tagline.
You got it because of his dad.
Yeah.
All right, here's a great one. It's terrific.
Is that a pun? Is there a pun in there?
There's no pun. It's
Okay.
literally just saying this film is good.
This isn't what like a journalist said about the movie.
No,
and they put it.
this is
a
on the poster. The
genuine
tagline is
poster
just,
tagline.
it's terrific. No pun.
Sure, that's not like a reviewer's score.
Absolutely.
Is that what it is?
It is just their tagline is it's terrific.
And this is definitely these are all iconic movies.
Yes.
I feel like you have to.
Well,
give us a clue
not
with this.
iconic so much as you will have heard of them, most likely. Well, you might not have. I
mean, it could be any.
So,
film.
okay, well, I'll give you an extra little clue. It is a film that's meant to be good. They're not wrong.
Right. A good
terrible
film, brilliant.
You'll kick yourself.
Interstellar.
Incorrect. It's terrific.
Toy Story.
Incorrect. Citizen Kane. And as many people would agree, it is terrific.
It's terrific.
They're not wrong. It's just a bad tagline.
It's
All right, I haven't got
wrong.
to shoot anyone yet. I want
This is great. Let's just keep.
I started with the easiest one. I'm going to shoot you both at the end if you get them all wrong. Remember, I'm shooting someone today. Here's one. Enter the world.
The Matrix.
Incorrect.
Ah,
Enter the world.
Enter the world.
What does that mean?
Maze Runner.
Incorrect. Maze Runner.
that seminal classic Maze Runner.
It's Avatar. Enter the world. What does that mean?
Nothing.
These are all
It means
really
literally
good
nothing.
movies. I feel like you could have come up with much better taglines.
That's kind of the whole point of the quiz.
Wait a second.
You're still hiding as if I'm going to shoot you. I'm not even near the trigger.
He's going to announce when he's shooting. You can put the paper down. It's fine.
Here we go. One. This you might get this one. The Magnificent One.
Magnificent Seven.
Yes.
What? That makes no sense.
Exactly. The Magnificent One is the Magnificent
that
Seven.
Can't be it. That can't
Does that
be
mean
it.
Dale's getting shot?
All
Son
right,
of a-
Dale's getting shot. I'm going to cock this.
I'm sorry, Dale.
Looks.
It's probably already cocked.
Oh, is it already cocked?
Yeah.
Superb.
Oh,
I was
God.
just pulling at my crotch.
Just do it. Do it.
Here we go. If you're watching on the video, watch this.
Right in the jugular.
Did I hit your throat?
That was so much louder than I thought it was.
I'm fine.
That literally hit you right on the Adam's apple.
It's fine. It's
I'm
Nerf
sorry, I
bullets.
meant to hit your chest.
They're family friendly. It's
They
fine.
are so family friendly.
What speed does that bullet
Should
leave the
technically
gun?
be wearing masks. Okay,
Didn't
I'm
expect
really.
you to hit my throat.
Imagine, like, we skipped over the fact that the Magnificent One is the Magnificent Seven. Okay. Oh, this one's just rubbish. When he pours, he reigns. As in reigns like a king, but it's a reigns and pours.
Oh, it's the bartender thing with Tom Cruise.
What, cocktail?
Cocktail.
No, but I knew it.
You didn't say the name.
I didn't know
You
the
had
name.
guessed the Lion King already, though.
Oh.
I'm going to shoot Dale again.
Oh, son of a...
Oh man, you've got a really big. I don't want to bring up the love bites thing again. You've got a big red mark on your
Is that how
neck.
you got love bites? Were we having a Nerf war?
Got some girls to shoot things at my necks. At my necks.
All right, go for it. This time hit
I'm
my
gonna
chest.
yeah, I'm gonna get your chest.
All right, go on.
I'm aiming down
I'm going
sights.
to close my eyes.
Here we go.
Right in the tip.
Listen to this.
It's really scary, Joe.
Right. Here we go.
I don't like this version of Joe.
This is brilliant.
image.
I'm so glad I write the quizzes.
If you ever become editor, this is the despotic regime we'll be under.
This is how I'm going to kill Alex to get that position as well. Yeah, this one's shit. Collide with destiny.
Doctor Strange.
No. Collide,
collide.
with destiny.
Not like
Collide.
short for kaleidoscope.
No. You put way more thought into that than they did.
I'm thinking it's always a pun. Every time it
It's
feels like it's
not.
going to be a pun.
I mean, we mentioned this one earlier, but Interstellar?
Incorrect. It's Titanic.
What?
Collide with destiny.
Their destiny.
What a load of
to
shit.
Die.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, their destiny is to die and be on a big sinking ship.
Like, when you think Collide with Destiny, you think of something really epic and gorgeous and
like,
space battle.
That's it. It's like, is it meant to be a double meaning that like they're colliding
Oh, like they collide with each other.
with each
Was the
other's
iceberg
genitals
called Destiny?
in that car?
Window
That's what they
palm.
do. The window palm. Yeah.
Thank you for that image, Joe.
Here's a good one. He was dead, but he got better.
Weekend at Bernie's.
Incorrect. He didn't get better. He is dead.
Well, I mean, he's living his life still.
That's true.
To everyone else.
He was dead, but he got
Who
better.
gets resurrected in film?
I'm not going to say. I don't think you've seen this film.
Is it
what was that called? The one that was the story of Jesus.
Oh, I love that one. Passion of the
No,
Christ.
you're not getting this.
The story of Jesus.
The story of Jesus.
My Year 7 nativity play.
It's Crank High Voltage
I've never
I mean,
seen it.
that's
with
a class
Jason
film,
Statham.
but I didn't predict that.
Oh, this one's rubbish. I'm going to put a small accent on this to give you a bit of a clue.
Okay.
Prepare for bloody hell. Prepare for bloody hell.
Lockstock.
Rock and Roller.
Incorrect, both of you. It's London Has Fallen.
For fuck's sake.
Idiots. American idiots. This, you're never going to get this. I just like that this exists. This is such a downbeat tagline. Not that it matters, but most of it is true.
127 hours.
No.
Memento?
No. Memento.
It's not true.
Memento. Bloody hell. It's Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. What a way to put down your film. Well, it
It's all
matters.
right if you want to
Most
watch
of
it,
it is
whatever.
true.
All right. This one I like because it's just a spoiler for the film.
God.
Blank, this is the character's name, so I'm not going to say it, shows he's a champ and wins.
Rocky.
Creed.
Incorrect. Also incorrect. Rocky 2.
Oh, come on!
Dale, I'll let you choose whether you get shot for that one.
You can shoot me.
Yeah!
Bring it on.
What a sport.
Yeah, 'cause we haven't been shot in a while. And also, I'm just showing it doesn't hurt that much. Shoot my arm if you can. Or my...
That's that.
Where was that?
It's kind of my ribcage.
No, that's okay. That's not going to go. Here we go. I'm going to cock it.
It's more the anticipation
Rocky.
of it.
I love they spoiled Rocky 2.
This time
Really
he
good.
wins.
This time he wins. Oh, this is so crap. Be the first to meet 14 new characters.
Snow White and the 14 Dwarfs.
What?
Be the first.
To meet 14
So-
new characters.
Be the
14 new characters implies that there have been previous films in this series.
Fast.
Is one of the oceans?
No. There isn't an Ocean's 14.
I know, that's why I
unfortunately.
was stumbling all over it.
Fourth one is like Ocean's 8, isn't it?
Did they even do a
They're making one. It's all female.
14 new characters.
yeah.
Doing the Ghostbusters business.
No idea.
Series film.
Series of films.
Lots of characters.
Fellowship of the Ring.
No. Toy Story 3.
Oh.
Beautiful world of magic that is going to conjure
Wait,
for your
what was it
kids.
again?
Be the first to meet 14 new characters.
One, I doubt they're the first.
Yeah.
What exactly?
This isn't like the premiere.
Yeah, that's the
And
international
also, I'm
poster.
sold 14 new characters.
Oh my god, there's a purple bear. This one's rubbish and disgusting if you think about it the right way. Great things come in bears.
Oh, that's great.
What are they called? The ones with the Matt Wahlberg and the teddy bear thing. What's it? Ted?
Not Ted. Great things come in bears. I'm never going to get tired of saying that.
I've absolutely.
Oh, is it
no
Yogi
idea.
Bear?
It is Yogi Bear.
Oh, nice.
But you've already
had his
guessed.
guess.
Yeah, but Alysia hasn't been shot, and I kind of got it right before you prompted us.
But also, I.
Alysia doesn't want to
think
be shot
the
as much as you.
Okay,
You have
apparently
broken the
so.
rules. I'm not going to shoot someone who's definitely not. Who's
Also, can we-
sort of not lost.
There was a sexual pun made in a children's cartoon, right?
Well, so I think what it's just meant to be. The pun is just meant to be great things come in pairs.
Right.
Because there's Yogi Bear and the whatever
so
the
it
little
wasn't
bear is.
C-U-M.
No, but when you
That would've
read
been
it,
worse.
great things come in bears.
If you are going to do the shooty thing, can I at least make a shield out of the podcast feedback papers?
Do you want to be? I don't know whether you want to be
if,
shot or
if
not.
we're saying that the rule is I'm happy to, as long as
I mean,
a
technically you
paper
didn't
shield
lose.
is allowed.
Yeah, let's just leave it.
We've got a follow up.
All right.
We've not got many left. What's going on?
Just on Google.
You asked Google how to not be shot.
Shenanigans.
Shenanigans.
Deserves to be shot.
For some reason, Google is just telling me about Italy.
Oh,
How did that even
thanks, guys. Here we go. Laugh, cry, share the pants.
Thunderpants.
No.
What is that?
Thunderpants is a Rupert Grint film.
Yeah, it was
I'm
what he
not.
did.
Very
after,
fast.
like-
Of course you know that.
Laugh, cry, share the pants. It's not meant to be
Is it
funny.
pants as in American pants?
I couldn't possibly tell you.
I have no idea.
Can I have a second guess?
You can.
Is it the wrong trousers?
No, it's Sisterhood of the Travelling Pants.
Would have never got that.
I would have. I think I've got one left. Oh, that's sad. I wanted to shoot you more.
We're clearly rubbish at this.
Oh, here we go. This is very odd. It's happening.
The podcast.
Is it The Happening?
It's not The Happening.
But it's something like that. Is it The Happening 2? Was there a Happening 2?
There wasn't a Happening 2.
Is it Knowing with Nicolas Cage?
It's not. Actually, I rejected that one because I didn't think anyone would remember it. That tagline, the tagline for Knowing with Nicolas Cage is, what happens when the numbers run out? There's no such thing. Numbers don't run out. There's no biggest number.
But what happens, eh?
I'm really impressed you remember Knowing with Nicolas Cage. I certainly
It's
didn't.
not my highest accolade.
It's happening.
I've no idea.
Independence
The Conjuring.
Day.
It's Signs.
Oh, shit.
The earlier M. Night Shyamalan movie. It's like his own tagline gave him the idea for his next movie.
Literally,
Idiot.
would not have seen that.
Right.
God.
Even if it was signposted.
Wow.
You can shoot me now
Excellent.
because there wasn't enough shooting, and I feel people have been shot. Not from there.
Where from? Okay.
Get off.
This is the worst podcast ever.
No, it's not.
It's really good.
Right, I'm going to shoot.
Here you go.
Oh!
I've scared myself more than it hurt.
I feel like I came out of that quite well.
Let's probably go back to normality now, I guess.
I really enjoyed that gimmick.
That was good. I enjoyed watching that.
I just really enjoyed looking up all those taglines. There is some bollocks out there.
Ridiculous. Some of
The
them.
best one that I couldn't include because no one would ever know what it is. I'm just going to look it up. It's a film about. Well, it's called Day of the Dolphin.
Never heard of it.
It's like it's like an adventure film
Right.
about I think it's a murderous dolphin. And
What an adventure.
this is the tagline for Day of the Dolphin, and I'm going to watch this film now.
Okay.
Unwittingly, he trained a dolphin to kill the President of the United States. That's the tagline to Day of the Dolphin.
I would watch that film.
And it's got it's Mike Nichols, who's like a legit director.
Unwittingly.
Unwittingly.
That's the best bit.
That's it. It's like he trained an evil dolphin to kill someone, but he'd been holding up a picture of the president instead of the Russian president.
Oh, no.
What a snafu!
Yeah. Is that a right mare?
Yeah.
Right.
Feedback. Right. This one's from Jack Milburn, who says, "Hello IGN UK team. A few weeks ago, I pre-ordered Pokemon Sun. It has not arrived yet.
What?
Do you not think that games you've pre-ordered should arrive on the day they come out? Is that not the whole point of pre-ordering games?"
When did this email come in?
This came
2 years ago.
This came in yesterday, on the 23rd of November.
That is when it came out, so that's fair. What time did it come in?
At 5:50
That's
p.m.
past the last post.
Has he tracked his delivery?
Jack Milburn, have you tracked your delivery? Please write into us at IGN UK.
Because I spent a brief amount of time working for Royal Mail, and
Did you?
problems arise sometimes. It might not be the fault of whoever you bought it from, Amazon.
Is it someone stole his copy of Pokemon
That
Sun
could
and
happen,
Moon?
or it could just be lost in the post, or who knows.
You steal a lot from Royal Mail?
I never stole.
Didn't you?
What does that say?
A friend of mine recently worked in a sorting office in Newcastle, and one morning, so he had to go in at about 4 a.m. every day.
Yeah.
One morning, he picked up a package, and it like fell out at the bottom.
Oh no.
And what fell out was a smashed
Dildo.
fleshlight. And it just looked like this mad worm had just landed on the floor. And he's not sure whether it had smashed in transit or whether it was being sent back, possibly used. So he was just like,
How do you smash a Don't answer that question.
well, it's not that like there's a solid. Not that I've used one.
How much you know about
There's a solid.
Jane.
There's a solid casing around a pliable interior. I learned this
around the penis.
I learned this by looking at a picture of a smashed fleshlight that my friend sent me at 4 a.m.
Oh God.
Yeah, so That's my mail story.
Your
I'm saying,
your copy of Pokemon Sun could be the gaming equivalent of a Smash.
What I'm saying to Jack Milburn is, are you sure you didn't order a fleshlight? Please be over 18. God damn, I didn't think this through.
Let's assume there's nothing wrong with delivery.
Yeah.
What's happened there? What's the problem?
Is that what we're being asked?
No,
Are we being asked to diagnose mail problems?
The problem is, I think the issue more is that it's a fair point that if you've pre-ordered a game, the whole point of it is day one, it should be there, ideally, by the front door of your letterbox at like 9 a.m.
I'm not sure we're like smashing expectations right now. That is just how pre-orders work, isn't it?
Yeah.
So it sucks that hasn't happened, and yes.
Regardless of the reason why.
I think it's a rarity. Like, I've never not pre-ordered a game and it not been there.
Yeah, the only times that hasn't turned up on launch day is when I've ordered them from shop2.net, who always send them like 3 days early.
Right. Okay.
I've gotten loads of games really early.
That's awesome.
Shop2 are quite naughty.
I might have to check out Shop2.
Shop2. Excellent.
They're very good.
Can I apply my Amazon Prime on Shop2?
You cannot. But they're actually quite expedient.
Oh, okay.
Considering it comes like before the game comes out.
Do free
that's
delivery?
their tagline. Quite expedient.
We're quite expedient and naughty.
Yeah. Free delivery?
Yeah, I think so.
I feel like we're promoting Shop2 now.
I know.
I mean, there's probably... No, I don't know. That's probably libel. Anyway.
Cool.
Moving on.
Well, yeah, do let us know, Jack, when your copy does come through.
Thanks, man.
That was an awful answer to his question.
I don't remember what the question was. Is it that we do we pre-order? Is that all right?
Do you not think that games that you've pre-ordered should arrive on the day it comes out?
Yes.
Yes. Unanimously.
Yeah.
Good one. That sounded more mean than I meant it to. Good one, mate. Dylan Wynn. Hi, guys. Dylan here.
Hello, Dylan.
I like that. Dylan here.
Dylan, yeah.
Good work on the podcast, as always.
He hasn't listened to this one yet.
I haven't heard this. Remember Bake Off? This is shitter. I knew Dishonored 2 was going to... I really like the Bake Off episode, by the way. I knew Dishonored 2 was going to be good. I loved the original, but I was very disappointed in the live-action commercials. I felt they did nothing to represent the art style, the dynamism of the characters, and the weird supernatural undercurrent. Dishonored has such a distinct art style that to adapt it in live-action only dilutes its potency and removes the fantasy. First thing that sprang to mind was, that looks shite! After such a beautiful description of Dishonored. Dylan, your anachronistic language is perfect. Well done. When I knew the game wouldn't. Look shite. I wonder if that has gone some way to turn people off, both potential new fans and existing ones. It fails to capture the game and therefore misrepresents it. Can't speak.
Use your words, Joe.
There's loads of this. I was stoked to hear that Titanfall 2 was going to be multi-format, as I missed out on the first one being a PS4 owner. I was doubly stoked to hear about a single-player campaign, especially as the first one was criticised quite heavily for not having one. But I didn't even know it was out until you guys talked about it a couple of weeks ago. Clearly, it's not been represented enough. If I was not so well informed, then I don't know if I'd bother with either after the representation or lack of in media. That's it, there's no question. He's just saying. This is just an intelligent discussion about representation in the media.
Which is a really interesting point of, like, we were talking about this last week with Titanfall, that is one of the best first-person shooters that are out at the moment, and no one's really talking about it.
Titanfall 2 is a very strange thing because... Titanfall 2 is quite a straightforward thing because we know that it's been sent out to die between two games that are bigger than it.
Problem with that one.
It just doesn't have the brand recognition that those two games have. Dishonored is a weird one because Dishonored, as we mentioned last week, also hasn't sold well. It sold in the UK, it sold about 40% fewer copies in its launch week than the first Dishonored did, which is really unusual for a sequel. Sequels always sell more.
Especially considering Dishonored was really popular as a first game.
Look at it when its launch week was. People only have so much money; they can only buy so many games. And obviously, there's a big mindshare of Call of Duty and Battlefield dominating that. Yeah. So I've got to think with Dishonored, the main reason is because it's just being lost amongst the shuffle.
Yeah, really. And who knows? Maybe it is selling more now through word of mouth or something. Like I haven't seen the latest sales stuff. That was just an initial thing from last week. But there is a really interesting point it's particularly with Dishonored when it is a game that is so stylized. All the guys have craggy faces and massive hands for no reason at all. It looks really distinct. You know that game is that. Even when with the architecture, you can look at that city and go, even though it's a completely different location to the first game, you can go, that's clearly the Dishonored universe.
And you're like, no, that is the cousin of Dunwall.
Yeah. He's absolutely right. I hadn't seen the live action adverts.
The live action trailer of it is awesome because, Emily, you see her like snaking down through the Clockwork Mansion and but it's when you're actually in the Clockwork Mansion, it's way better than anything that the live action trailer showed because you're actually in there, you're living it, you're seeing the world morph around you. That's really cool. And it's not captured. It's graphically gorgeous as a trailer, but it doesn't really tell you loads about the game.
Yeah. We don't know the logistics of who made this advert to begin with, because there's a good chance there's nothing to do with Bethesda at all. They were hiring a separate marketing or PR company who have made this. They might have just been commissioned to make a cool looking trailer that applies to a different audience as opposed to the people who are fans of the game to begin with. We don't really know where the decision was made, but it seems like a peculiar one.
Yeah. It's a strange decision. What it would have been cool is if in the live action trailer everyone had like massive hands, like in Always Sunny with the lawyer who wears gloves that are big hands.
Don't look.
He also says have a dope Christmas, which I really like. I haven't heard someone say dope for ages.
He said dope and he said stoked twice as well.
He said stoked and doubly stoked.
Oh.
It's very, very stoked.
Doubly stoked sounds like a vaudeville performer. And doubly stoked in his juggling beans.
Okay, I've got an email from Christopher Seaton. Now, I'm going to read the highlighted bits, like Alyssia's highlighted, and you've highlighted, hi guys, and duck. You didn't highlight hunt.
I because my pen was just moving and it moved too quickly for my brain to say stop.
Okay. What?
It's your hand, not the pen.
If anything, it moved too slowly then. You stopped before you should have.
I mean, maybe there could be a mallard listening to this podcast.
I think Alyssia's had some sort of mental event.
It's been a busy
Anyway,
week, guys.
back to Christopher's email. I've just moved down to London from Manchester to start my new career after finishing my Masters.
Congratulations.
He's a graduate of environmental consultant. Just saving the planet. Thank me later.
Yeah, I was going to say, you're doing something way more important than any of us ever will in our lives.
Absolutely, yeah. So I don't really know the place very well at all. I was wondering if you could give me any tips on cool places to go and things to do to get me exploring a bit more.
We're doing London tourism.
Basically, yeah.
IGN offices. Don't come here. I don't want to see.
I am the worst person. You don't want advice off me. I don't even live in London.
That's a good point. What are cool places?
There are loads. So, like...
I don't go to any of them. Obvious ones, like Natural History Museum, Science Museum, all that Kensington like tourism business. That's the best bit. Of tourism?
Yeah.
Of tourism.
Well, if you live in London, you don't do any of that.
I did that recently. I went to the Natural History Museum.
I mean, to be fair, I do want to go there soon actually as well.
I had a bottle of wine. I got wasted and looked at T-Rexes.
But how long have you lived in London for?
Like 2 years.
Yeah. Do you find yourself going to Big Ben over the weekend?
Well, I walk past it.
Yeah, but there's things that you'll do on a more regular basis.
That's very fair.
I'm still in awe of Big Ben every time I walk past it.
It's always bigger than I remember it being. Almost if it's getting bigger each time.
Me and Krupa were walking back from... We had to travel to Brighton the other week, and we were walking back, and it was at night. We walked past London Bridge, and it was all lit up.
Oh, it's lovely, isn't it?
Spectacular view.
You do have moments walking through London where you just go, God, I'm so lucky to live here.
And then you get punched in the face by the smog.
You get mogged. But
you get mogged?
You get mogged.
That's when 1,000 cats swarm over your body and take all your clothes.
It's a Final Fantasy attack. Getting mugged.
But okay, cool places in London. There's the Namco Funscape Arcade by Westminster. That's really awesome to visit. It's got dodgems and loads of really cool arcade games, really good prizes. We went to a really cool bar the other day that, what's it called? Flight Club.
Flight Club.
That's like...
It's bowling for darts.
Bowling for darts, which is really, really fun.
It's also a ska band.
What about that mini golf place we went?
The mini golf
Swingers.
Loads of swingers.
That was really cool. It's like indoor mini golf, but drinking as well.
Yeah, there's a place that I've been meaning to take all of us to at some point, which is not far from where we are in East London, nearest Shadwell Station, I think. It's called Wilton's Music Hall, and it's a restored Victorian music hall, like as it was at the time, and you can watch proper performances there. But it's also got these like a little cocktail bar upstairs. It's got a proper bar downstairs. Proper bar. Got a proper bar with beer in that downstairs, and it's just like a beautiful building, but it's also incredibly historical. So it's got a bit of it's very London in that way. That's Wilton's is amazing.
There's what other places? There's a really cool place called the Mayor of Scaredy Cat Town, which you have to enter by going through
a nursery rhyme.
You have to enter it by like downstairs from the Breakfast Club in Liverpool Street.
Oh,
to
you
get
go
to
through
the
a
bar,
fridge.
You have to go through a fridge.
Yeah.
And then it's meant to be like a speakeasy, so it's like a hidden.
We're like the most
away
London people in the
gem.
world.
Oh god.
That's really cool.
I went on a date to a place in Earl's Court the other day, which was a detective-themed bar.
Oh my
And you have to
gosh, I
make an
love that.
appointment, and you buzz to get in, and it's just a door in like just what looks like a house.
It's like a slate.
And it says
outside
no. It's got like the frosted glass, and it says
Right.
like I can't remember what it's called, like Albert and Earl's Detective
Right,
Agency. I'm
okay.
not really helping. It's in Earl's Court. Look up detective bar, and you buzz, and then you go downstairs, and you have to present a case to them to investigate before they let you
that's
in.
so cool.
And then they open up a secret bookcase, and there's the bar behind it.
That's
It is
awesome.
rad.
That is cool.
I am totally going to check that out. That sounds awesome.
Yeah, it's really
But-
good.
So, I mean, that's like a handful. If you have just moved to London, definitely pick up Time Out magazine on the Tube. I think
Listings
it's
and
like-
stuff.
Yeah.
And their listings online are great. The actual magazine that they give out for free, I think it's like every Wednesday or Tuesday or something. That's awesome, and it always has stuff for the week. So, yeah.
What's the other thing?
Sport
I was
for
gonna
choose
say
for
something.
food.
I was going to say,
Yeah.
what's your favourite, like one favourite restaurant to go that's not a normal, obvious thing in
I can
London?
never remember the names of them, but
Yeah, I can
there's
never
so
remember
many.
the
There's a million great like sort of burgery and Mexican places, and I really like that sort of like, decadent food.
There's a place near where I live in Stratford called Sawmill, and it's just like a little cafe. But oh my goodness, the best cakes I think I've ever eaten in my life. They're like you want to just take the crumbs and snort them. They're amazing.
You're eating
Right,
wrong.
cool.
absolutely
Crystal meth bar.
And you can pay by Bitcoin, which makes me really happy.
That's
Never go in.
sod off. I hate that crap.
We only accept cryptocurrency. Best food in London, bar none, is a place called Bao in Soho, which is a tiny
to Bao.
little. It's
That's
incredible. It's a tiny little Chinese bun, like rice bun restaurant.
Okay.
You always have to queue outside. There's no reservations. It's really small. It is so worthwhile. It's nuts. Firstly, there's right next to an off license, so you get wrecked in the queue. And then once you're in, all the buns are like £3 to £5 at most, and genuinely like some of the most delicious food I've ever had. I think
That's amazing.
the review I read that made me go said, if Michelin weren't such snobs, this place would have 3 Michelin
Wow.
stars. Like,
That's
yeah,
amazing.
it's
And
absolutely incredible.
I've been there.
check
The
that out.
queue is like always right around the corner, but it is
Yeah.
rightly so. It's amazing.
My God.
Cool. Well, that brings us to the end.
Do some good things with the environment man whose name I've forgotten.
Christopher.
I
Thank
hope
you,
that
environmental
helped.
man, for saving the planet.
We really hope you think we're cool.
Cool. That's it from us. We'll be back next week, and we'll see you then.
Bye.
Get love bites.
Yeah, that's all I
That's
can
my new
somehow.
thing.